Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Dr. Rishabh Jain, and in this video I'll be discussing the two most popular question banks that are there in the PG entrance exam market, that is namely MARROW and PrepLadder. So I'll be dividing this video into 5 subheadings, that is the content of the questions in each of these platforms, the explanations to those questions, the analytics, the UI, that is the user interface or the tech, the price point, which is a very important point, and finally the conclusions. So a brief introduction about me. I'm a senior resident in the Department of Radiology at AIMS, and I secured an All India rank of 4 in AIMS PG back in 2018 and a rank 11 in PG at Chandigarh in July 2018. So a brief disclaimer to everyone before starting this video that I don't recommend buying any coaching app in your first and second year, because in my opinion that is the time where you should read standard textbooks and you should frankly enjoy your college life, because you have just cleared your PMTs and that was a very tough time. And so first two profs, in my opinion, you should read standard textbooks, and if you have any problem in understanding a particular topic, you can watch USMLE based videos, which are frankly, in my opinion, more conceptually oriented, more clinically oriented, and they're free of cost. And if you want to start a PG preparation, then I recommend starting it in the third and fourth year. And in that time, if you want to practice question banks simultaneously while preparing your notes, then you can use any of the platforms that are available. And in this video, I'll be restricting myself to the two most popular ones, that is MARROW and PrepLadder. So the methodology that I've used is that I've used both of these apps for a week. I've used one of my friends' app, one of my juniors who was using MARROW, and another junior who was using PrepLadder, and so my insights for this videos are based on that. First, the content. So the number of questions in both the platforms are almost similar. MARROW claims around 18,500 plus questions in the question banks, and I think PrepLadder has almost similar number of questions, maybe a little less. When I used that app, I found that PrepLadder had more variety of questions and it was more focused. While in my opinion, MARROW had a lot of questions, and some of them it was too vast. In my opinion, they did cover everything, which I think PrepLadder did miss a few small topics, but MARROW covered everything. That I'll give it to MARROW. But I particularly solved the radiology part of both MARROW and PrepLadder during this time, and I loved solving MARROW. It was I could revise my whole MD while solving the question bank of MARROW, the radiology part. But that scares me a little, because the questions, if I'm able to solve after completing my MD radiology, if I'm loving it, then maybe that is a red flag. And because those questions would be very tough for an intern or post intern, or especially in third or fourth year. So that is a caution that I would like you to take. If you're solving a question bank of MARROW, use it as a source to add it onto your notes, and don't use it as a source to test your knowledge, because then you'll get depressed that मुझे ये भी नहीं आता, मुझे ये भी नहीं आता, मुझे ये भी नहीं आता. I solved the PrepLadder radiology part 2, and I figured that it was a mixed bag. It had a mixed bag of around 20% tough questions, 20% were easy questions, very easy questions, 30 were concepts based questions in which you had to apply multiple concepts into a particular question, and 30% were moderate questions. But both of these platforms have a lot of questions, and frankly many of these questions were being repeated in each other. Second important point I want to in regards to question is previous year questions. Both give previous year questions from 2017 onwards, and they have divided it subject wise, which is a very good thing. But I like the previous year questions of PrepLadder a little better, because they also included previous year questions of JIPMER, PGI, and FMGE also. While MARROW had restricted its questions to predominantly NEET and INI PG and INI CT. And another important difference which I noted was the rapid revision part in the PrepLadder question bank, which I really liked, because if you're an intern or a post intern, you have a limited amount of time with you, because you have hectic postings and you don't get time to read. So rapid revisions concises a limited number of questions of each subject into its question bank. And if you are, let's say, revising your whole syllabus in the last 10 days, which is very important thing, you can just use a rapid revision part to revise the whole subject. MARROW also has a restricted material in the form of an intern mode in which they have restricted the number of videos to the focused important topics and a similar question bank for those. Another important point that I really liked about PrepLadder was that integrated essentials part that was there in its module, in which they have a multidisciplinary approach to a particular disease. So let's say if they are discussing intestinal TB, so they discuss everything about that TB: radiology, surgery, medicine, PSM. Every aspect of that lecture will be covered in that integrated essential, which I really liked and which is very helpful if you're preparing for an INI-CT. Now coming to explanation. So explanations both were good. Frankly, PrepLadder had a little tables were more high yielding in my opinion. They had more content for a particular topic. I reviewed radiology particularly, and radiology I have a bias because Zanab ma'am is too good and she knows how to make questions and write explanations. MARROW was more aesthetically pleasing. It was very I loved scrolling through it and reading about its explanations. It was more aesthetic to read. It had a better font size and better images and explanations as compared to PrepLadder in my opinion. But I reviewed a radiology part, and this is something that I want to touch upon. That I reviewed a question related to acute pancreatitis, and in that the severity score was still given as Balthazar or the CTSI. But the current CT score, which has been used throughout the country nowadays, is modified CTSI, which was not there in the question in the explanation. So just a point to be taken, and it obviously can't be generalized because there are a lot of questions, and other question might have included the latest updates as well. Another important point in the explanation part with regard to PrepLadder was that they have a go-to video option in their explanation, that if you want to see where this question has particularly come, you can click on go to video and it will take you to that video if you have a premium package. Now, third important point is user interface. In this, MARROW supersedes PrepLadder any day. The MARROW UI is super smooth. It never hangs. The phone never crashes. Prep, I use the UI. It is also very smooth. I don't say it hangs or it lags behind like other apps. And it has markedly improved its UI as compared to previous years, where I heard that the UI was not so good. But the app did crash twice while I was using it. So in UI, MARROW beats PrepLadder hands down. Both of these apps give subject-wise questions and subject-wise PYQs. So the the assortment of both of these apps is almost similar. Now analytics, PrepLadder gives the percentage corrected of. So let's say you complete a question bank, and after that you complete a question bank, you get a percentage number of questions corrected, and for each option that you mark, that you also get how many people mark this answer and how many mark this answer. But MARROW has a percentile based approach for the question bank. So if let's say you complete a module, or if let's say you complete a question, at the end of the question MARROW gives an analytic that you scored 94% better than the rest of the people. So it is a percentile based analytics, which is a better analytics in my opinion, because it is a competitive exam, and your performance is always relative to the performance of your peers. Now the fifth important point is price. So PrepLadder offers 6 months to 6 years program starting from 24,500, but I could not find separate question bank related programs or plans of PrepLadder, and the most popular one which they recommended was 33,500, while MARROW has a separate question bank related programs and a plan C which covers both videos, question banks and test series. And for the 1 year program of PrepLadder, it was priced at around 33.5k, and the MARROW plan for a 1 year plan C program is around 35k, which is almost similar, just a 1.5k difference. And both of these apps provide a longer term plan, that is you can take a 36 months plan C if you are using MARROW, which will cost around 66,000, and you can similarly use a 6 year program of PrepLadder, which will cost around 68,000. So to conclude in this video, I would say that if you are a post-intern or an intern, for you, PrepLadder might be a better option because it is more concise. It has a rapid revision series which helps you revise your entire most important topics of a subject quickly. In my opinion, it had more information in less number of questions, and hence it was high yielding, especially if you're an intern or post-intern and you are limited on time. And also PrepLadder offers specific apps by individual faculty. So there is like pharmacology by Gobind Raigar, and similarly medicine by Deepak Marwa. And so if you are let's say weak on a particular subject, then you can buy that particular app only. So for third and fourth year, if you're a third and fourth year medical student, both PrepLadder and MARROW in my opinion are good platforms. And how to use them effectively is that you can use the questions to add on to your notes, and don't use the questions to test your knowledge. For those tests are the thing. For question bank, you use it as a accessory knowledge curator, and hence you can add those notes in your questions in your notes, and don't use them to test your knowledge. If you are in your first and second year, I don't recommend buying any of these apps. You should read standard textbooks and enjoy your MBBS year. You are still in first and second year, and if you start your PG preparation at that time, you will get burned out. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and if you have any queries, you can put them in the comment section. So thank you.